This is a brief instructional video on how to connect up to the back of a Furnace Controls FCO730 leak detector. Just a quick look around the back of the instrument. You can see here is where the 24 volt power supply goes into. You have an earth connection here and you have your I/O here and here. The comms that you have is an RS232 and an RS485. Not all of these will be present on all instruments. Next we have two ports, test negative and test positive. Test positive is normally the test port. On this instrument we have a P1 and a P2, so two pneumatic outputs. P1 normally drives the vent valve and P2 normally drives a jig or a connector. Further to that we have an air supply in and a regulator supply in here. This drives the valves and this goes directly to the regulator, which then governs the test pressure. It comes out of the regulated air out and goes back into the regulated air in, and this loop is normal and should be left alone. I'm going to remove the blank from the test port. This blank is very useful in case you think that the instrument might be leaking. You can use it to blank it off and run a test and see whether the instrument is okay. So please keep this. This is an M1143 valve and is used for venting the test part. As you can see at the top of the valve here, you've got a silencer, and this is where the vented air would come out, which means that this port here is going to go to the positive test port of the instrument, and this port here is going to go to the test part. Just here you have a pneumatic input which drives the valve. I put a small piece of tube on the port that's going to go to the test positive of the instrument, and then I'm going to put the nut on the top of that tube and put it to the back of the test. The M1143 valve is going to look like that. I'm going to connect it to the back of the FCO730 positive test port. Then going to make it finger tight and give it a turn with the spanner. Finger tight and a turn is normally enough. You don't want to be driving it all the way home. So I have my test line here and I have a sort of dummy test part there. I'm going to take my test line and connect it to this port on the M1143. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to connect a 4mm tube to here and then take out the plug from the back of the instrument for P1, which is the vent, and push that tube into here. From my air line to the instrument I'm going to use a filter. You can see on this filter it's got arrows on it and the air should go in that direction from the air line. So I connect my air line to this side of the filter, and to this side of the filter I connect another air line or tube with a Y piece on it. I then take all of this and connect it up to the air supply into the back of the instrument and the regulator supply into the back of the instrument. That's my instrument set up pneumatically.